take our audience and your worthy, valuable viewers towards the trends that we are focusing in 2020-22 and 2020-23, which is the upcoming year. Now, many of us must be questioning that we are in September and why are we discussing the trends that have been into 2022? But there's a lot of evidence that supports that we as human beings have evolved post 2020, and our likings and preferences have also got very evolved eventually with the kind of socio-political or socio-economical or pharmaceutical industries have moved in the last 2-3 years. And so what we will be sharing today will have an impact in the upcoming year as well. So 2020-22 trends are going to be very evidently more exposed, more experimented in 2023 with new statements. So we'll walk through the current trends and how they're going to influence the upcoming year as well. So give me a minute, I'll share my screen and then we can go through the presentation that we have for today. Yeah, so can everybody see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's all about interior design trends, 2022 and 2023. And in this regard, I would just like to give you a brief yet again that we are already using a lot of things that were supposed to be trends of 2021, but due to the COVID lockdown and all, they all got a little delayed and modified and re-experimented, and we got to use them, whether they were color schemes, whether they were material innovations. We got everything coming in more usage and more practicality in the year 2022. And this has been quite a promising year, whether it is exercising of trends, whether it is increment in the knowledge of what interior design does to the spaces, whether it is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. So trends have become quite evident in selection of one's choices when it comes to designing spaces. So I will take you through some valid and some very upcoming trends, and let's go to the first one. So the first one is more to do with the natural elements that we look up to. So everybody has shifted to organic life. We are all looking forward to live more earthy. We want to have things which directly come from nature. We want to experiment life that's healthier, that's more peaceful, serene. So somehow there has been a good mental shift of humankind towards organic products, organic food, organic materials, and organic interiors as well. We are moving to less luxury and more practicality, sustainability, and that's where organic as a word and organic as a concept has become an ongoing trend and will continue in the time to come. So here the emphasis is not only on organic food, but the kind of colors that these elements render to our lifestyle, and also how it somewhere coexist with the concept of well-being. So whether it is colors like colors of sand, colors of sky, colors of natural foliage, they all come to being because they want, the human minds want them to be around and surrounded by them. The other thing before we elaborate on all the trends is that because we've become homebodies, we've started working from home, we started entertaining ourselves at home, we started making our own entertainment snapshots for wider audience globally. So somewhere down the line, the concept of uplifting your own lifestyle and spaces has become very evident. And thanks to the COVID era, that we have actually valued our own well-being and our own spaces to a greater extent. So today, whatever we're going to talk about trends will have a major influence that comes from this era that we've just experienced, and how we are prioritizing our health, our well-being, whether it is mental, physiological, psychological. We are just trying to boost it so that we can make our livelihood more pleasant and less secure. So moving on, we'll talk about the organic natural elements. Here, I would like to highlight that the color palette that gets inspiration in this particular year and the coming year would be more to do with warm beiges, blues, greens. I will also put the screen at this side so that we can see the colors. Yeah. So the colors here that you see with the pointer, they're to do with subtle greens, peaches, pinks, beiges, rusts, wheatgrass. These are the kind of elements that we are getting inclined towards. We're liking to experiment in our spaces. Materials like wood, cotton, jute, pottery of clay, ceramic is what everybody is enjoying. Doing clay pottery workshops has been quite a popular thing in the last 2 years. People have been feeling it's come like a stress buster. So people are incorporating a lot of these materials. Cooking in clay pottery, in clay utensils has become another trend. So all of these materials are becoming very, very popular and are ranging high in the trending charts. Also, use of natural materials, if we talk about rattan cane, wood in less polished look, and then more to do with bamboo, grass. So these kind of things add to our existence indoors also. Apart from appreciating the presence outdoors, we also like to incorporate them in our interior spaces, because it actually has a very calming effect on our well-being. Now, in this particular trend, what happens is that people are or us as designers are trying to incorporate the colors in patches which can actually make a statement. So whether it is wall colors, whether it is fabric color, whether it is some kind of decor element that takes that shade, there is definitely a relevance to the colors that are coming across in these years. And the first relevance would be relatability to your own well-being. So zone. Then you have a gray. Grays have been trending since last 5-6 years majorly, but it stays here because it gives you the feeling of groundedness. It gives you a solid foundation touch. So that's the vibe of gray. Then a rust orange, if you see on the extreme left corner, is also somewhere symbolizing the concept of safety, of how you can be there could be a protective layer of safety around you. There could be some bright sunshine that's coming in your life, and not all is gloomy. So that is kind of the effect that this color renders. And not to miss is the human race that inspires the color is this skin tone peach shade, which we also take in nude tones. So these are the kind of colors. There are numerous kind of tones and shades and tints of these colors and other palettes that are being experimented. But just an example, I wanted to highlight here that how organic colors are being related to psychological realms as well as to designer trends, whether it is designing an apparel or designing an art piece. So that's how they are taking their zone. So terracotta tones, I would highlight, are taking a lot of interest, and people are going in these zones of buying terracotta shade accessories, elements, adding those kind of planters in their house. So it's going really well. The second trend that I'm going to highlight is to do with more curves and art styles, because we have always been inspired in the last 10 years, like the last decade, by more boxy edges, clean lines, straight lines. So we've been really focused on those and giving a cutting edge competitive feel and very minimalistic. And but now with this kind of turn and twist from right after 2020, people and our entire fraternity has been getting inspired by the curves, the rounded edges, because it just gives a subtle continuance. It doesn't make you feel uncomfortable with an end. It just makes it feel more flowing, more calming, and more stylish somewhere. So anything like an indoor atmosphere made up of curves, soft edges, definitely adds a classic statement, but also adds a very subtle effect on your mindset. So if you see these pictures that we have here as examples, there are colors which are earthy tones, like we just discussed in the last trend, as well as you see the spaces that have these round edges. The sitting spaces are made in curvy linear patterns. So these add a very calming, very relaxed, and yet very optimistic zones of interior spaces. Moving on to the furniture, if you see, we are moving towards a lot of upholstered furniture in 2022, whether they are bedroom furniture or living room furniture. Here also, if you see to your extreme left, we have a picture which has a sofa style. So these sofas are now getting more popular because the edges are curved, the armrests are puffy. They have a a little deviation from the linear patterns and make them very cozy setups. So somewhere it's more to do with running in a flow and adding some softness to our earlier linear edges. So there are bold colors, but they're used in very subjective hints. And the other trend that can go along well in the coming year as well are double height ceilings, because a lot of influx of natural light is being appreciated, and overall I think it adds a lot of volume in your spaces. So with double height and curved arches or curved shapes, I'm sure it's going to make more classier statements in the coming times. In this only, if you look into further, specifically interior elements in furniture or in wall design, we are using round elements, whether they are, like you see, a curved, a curved edge for the LED panel adds a lot of grace. Then curved door openings are adding another kind of style statement. Fans also in specific are coming in, round shapes and curves and arches. So these are all adding to the concept of this kind of Renaissance style, in which you have more to do with shapes that do not end at one point, but have some kind of continuance. So mirrors are being used, artwork is being used with this concept. As I said, puffy sofas, comfortable seats. Majority of curved furniture has a contemporary twist, definitely, that makes it a better design suitable for modern setups. So modern setups are to do with people who are the millennials and beyond. So millennials and all want to have a glamour quotient, definitely, along with comfort and along with an X factor that makes them feel that they are moving towards the futuristic tomorrow. So I think all of these elements are being used in that particular regard so that it becomes a futuristic design statement. Here you see more pictures where we have pictures for mirrors, freestanding mirrors, which are not absolute rectangles, but have a curved framework. Also, if you see that we have a kitchen here in which the breakfast table or the island counter is given a little rounded edge on the sides, and it has a round pillar with flutes running through. So these are just adding a lot of interesting features in all kind of spaces that we are doing. And as we discussed, these kind of living room spaces have sofa sets or single seaters, which are coming up as lush and plush, soft, cushioned pieces of sitting arrangement. So they look really nice, and they add a very nice, cozy conversation spaces. Now, the next trend that we would focus here is sustainability. So sustainability, I think we've been through it. We've experienced it at different stages, and most likely we talk about, I'm just trying to move just a second. Yeah, I hope you can see the text now. So sustainability, we've been talking specifically in the last 10 years, as I said, 10, 15 years, when we realized that how global warming, climate change, environmental degradation are the elements that are taking a lot of our attention and need humongous amount of efforts for them to not deteriorate further, it has become a moral responsibility of each and every designer and a manufacturer to consider what could be the sustainable, environment friendly options wherein we can exercise design, but in a more logical perspective. So bringing sustainability into interiors definitely adds a very harmonious and rhythmatic statement. Because we always like to look up to the environment, whether it is for colors, whether it is for design inspirations, whether we are trying to make a platter, we try to take a leaf, a banana leaf as a platter for serving snacks. So I feel nature has a lot of inspiration for humankind. And when we talk about sustainability, definitely we need to look into thermal insulations. We need to see the recycling of materials that we use. So keeping those concepts in mind, again, organic and sustainability go very well hand in hand. And if you see the picture here on the right side, the concept of using stone as a floor, like we used to have that Flintstone age or the earlier times where people used to use abstract stone pieces and cement them as a flooring. They're coming back. Raw unfinished wood is being used. Then concrete has become a very sturdy material, whether it is exposed ceilings, whether it is walls. Concrete and concrete blocks as building blocks for a structure are very popular. So concrete, stone, wood, natural foliage, the greenery, the biophilic design is taking a lot of popularity, and I'm sure it's going to grow much beyond. So these kind of concepts will add more environment friendly spaces and more healthy places where people can enjoy being naturally surrounded by elements that they've grown in. So let's move on to the next slide. And here we have a project which we have done in Panchkula. I'll take you back. Yeah. So I'm just managing the screen 1 second. Let me put it this side. Okay. So here, if you see, we have done this project. It's a residential project where there was an alcove, a place which was in between the drawing room and the kitchen, and was a dingy dining room space that earlier was used as. But once we redesigned it, we made this as a transit lobby space, and the drawing room is in the extreme left, and the door that you see is the kitchen. So in between, there's a full double height space, and above this area, it becomes like a nook. So if you see this left picture, you can see there's a nook. So what we did is we actually added glass in the upper edge of the wall for natural light, which you can see, which is coming inside. And then we gave some ceiling spots for evening light. And we added a 15 feet long palm planter just to add volume and make the space look very sustainable instead of gloomy. It adds a lot of freshness in the space, makes it look more organic. The base of the wall has been done with fiberboards, so that also becomes very acoustical and very sustainable. So eventually this came out really well, and we try and incorporate these kind of elements in our projects just to make sure that we are walking in hand with the current scenario and the trend. So that was all about sustainability, and now let's take you towards the concept of statement ceiling. So this might sound a little out of the proportion and might just feel that, oh, why statement ceilings, and are we going to the Victorian era or whatever? But there is a very modern twist to this concept. So statement ceilings have actually influenced a lot of trending designs in the last year. And we've also been trying to incorporate it. Also depends upon what kind of client preference we get. But this is our project. This is an apartment, a penthouse in Zirakpur, here in Punjab. And what we've done is, this was a long entry passage walking towards the window or a small balcony right next to the living area. So we crafted this false ceiling design wherein we added a little, I would talk about a retro style of wallpaper, which has again round pattern. As we said, rounds are going well with the themes. So this is what we did. We added a little wallpaper style design for our false ceiling here, just to add interest and take away the entry long passage into a more pleasant, well lit space or well lit entry. And then we've also used a marble piece that you see on the front wall. That also adds a little glam quotient and gives that stone feel to the wall and makes it look very classy. So natural, organic with the blend of whatever we design gets a good effect overall. And to further, tell you about statement ceilings. Statement ceilings are also doing a big round in commercial spaces. So whether it is cafes, whether it is music, studios, whether they are museums or any kind of public, commercial, official spaces, people are experimenting with ceilings big time, whether putting bold colors like you see in the middle here in the central picture. There's a warm green painted on the ceiling and on the borders of the wall, just to make it a very, dramatic design. So this is definitely taking a lot of interest. As I spoke about the arches and the curves and the round elements, you will also notice that these kind of lights that you see here are also inspired by those globes and the rounds. So again, we are really inspired by these kind of shapes and effects. Even if you would notice, I have this lamp which can be taken as inspiration from mushroom or from fungi. So arches. So this looks very bohemian and very stylish, and it looks really classic. We've used in our projects, and this is making me happy in my office space. So these kind of elements are adding a lot of trendy statements to our interior spaces. Now, there's another one. So after statement ceilings have taken statement, but even in this slide, if you notice, the blue picture on your extreme right has the statement ceiling continuing to the wall. So it becomes a good concept of statement ceiling and wall design. And a lot of bright colors, and these curves and arches are well explained. And it's a good example for you to understand how commercial interiors are also being inspired by these trends. Now we come to bold wall treatment. So why to leave the walls alone? Walls are major elements that, as a person entering any space, it comes in view for the first time is a wall. So it's the main focal point of any space, because it comes right across in your eye level, and there's where the difference is marked. So a lot of dramatic wallpapers, very ornamental style, are being used. So wallpapers are not new, I would say, but they're trending in a different scope altogether. So wallpapers were previously used as intergoing wall backgrounds, but now they've become more dramatic, more statement oriented, and they have a very pronounced effect on your design concept. So if you see these pictures here, one takes you through a very, tropical effect, the peach one on your left side, and the other is again tropical, but it is a very rich ornamental design which takes you to a little more oriental or a little more classical style of design with statement bold colors as well. So these concepts are becoming very evident, whether they are office spaces, whether it's a conference room, whether it is a bedroom or a living room or your own office. So these bold patterns, these strong colors, patterns are all becoming very evident as a part of our expression. And there is not one school of thought, there are numerous schools of thought supporting these kind of elements, because people are open to experiment, and with experimentation, definitely new kind of innovations are coming across, which eventually is really healthy for humankind to see how, everybody is contemplating the same kind of school of thought in different genres. So this is what you see here. You see a zebra pattern on a giraffe lamp shade, a zebra lamp shade on a giraffe lamp base. So these are good innovations that we are also experimenting and looking at. Now, this is one of our another project where we've also used a bold wallpaper. So it's a lavender theme room, and it has a good upholstered bed with furnishings done by us. But here I made a choice of this wallpaper because this was very country cottage style of design that we were looking at. The concept was to be modern, yet it would have a country cottage statement. So this wallpaper had a very modern palette of color combination. It was not very jarring on your eyes. It is very, very new and refreshing. The lavender flowers, the eucalyptus green leaves, the kind of rust orange and the rust yellow, as we just discussed in our color palette slide. All of this came together in a very modernistic perspective. So we used this particular statement wallpaper for a bedroom design. So that's what I'm saying. You can experiment with a lot of innovations that are coming in the market, and they are trending. Now, the very neutral, but very, I would say, something which has a lot of impact is the black and white or the monochrome school of thought. So monochromes have also become a statement of expression. It's become a language of expression where people want to exclude all other colors if they're confused with the color palette and only give a statement in black and white. So it definitely adds a timeless elegance because black and white is the era that we have graduated from and moved towards the colored zones, colors also ranging from pastels to brights to electrifying neons. So monochromes have a lot of impact in today's trend chapter, and also it will evolve future in the coming year. Now, whether it is frames, whether it is office partitions, whether it is home, doors and window frames, whether it is lighting fixtures are taking a lot of black, furniture details, fabric. So a lot of elements are being experimented and welcomed in black and white because they have a very unique and a noble way of making a mark in your space. So even if you realize our brand logo is in black and white, so Gurjot Shan Designs logo is in black and white with a Midas touch of golden in it. So that's how we perceive monochromes. Well, we designed a logo long back, but it's nice that it's trending with the era that we are in. So here you see, whether they are round vases, as I said, rounds and curves with the black and white. The lamp that I showed you here is also here in black statement. So gold statement, a black statement. You can also get white ones in this. So whether it is furniture, whether they are kitchen countertops, whether it is a library, whether they are door frames or light fixtures that are suspended from the ceiling, black is actually taking a good limelight with the white as a contrast. We can see these kind of wall statements also getting their share of interest, whether they are wallpapers, whether they are bathroom tiles, like a washroom can be a full concept of black and white because nowadays we have sanitary ware that is coming in black. So a matte black becomes a good statement for a bathroom space or a washroom space. And as I said, wall statements, you can see here with golden highlights will add a lot of luxury and elegance in your spaces. It gives a very minimalistic vibe because there are not too many colors, but too many elements in monochromes can make it still look minimalistic. And that could be a very different kind of style of decor that one can make as their own individual personality. The other fun factor of the trends that have been putting up in the charts are the digital lifestyles that we have adopted. So it's a digital spunk, the funky neons. We are so inspired by the digital world that we love having a digital vibe to our spaces, whether it is through lighting, whether it is through materials, whether it is through color. So we are right now also doing a video studio, a digital studio, where we have got this client requirement of having neon lights at the editing table, and I'm sure this is becoming a very trending concept amongst all the young people, and they are enjoying experimenting with this kind of concept. So here it's basically termed as a rich cultural movement, because we are culturally evolving from a lot of baggage that we had from our ancestors, and also when we are evolving, we're definitely trying to find out something new, something more energetic that supports our concepts and mindsets. And this is majorly driven from movies, from digital media, from social media, fashion, design. So yes, it is a sci-fi sub-genre of design that people are experimenting in interiors. And this has a bright neon palette, whether it is in modern material usage, whether it is acrylic, glass. You can also go for PVC. A lot of these colors are coming in. Now we have actually paint companies giving you neon greens and neon colors on their palette for experimenting on wall colors. So there is a lot of experimentation here. In fact, I'll show you an example of a neon that we're going to add here. So if you see just behind me, we have a reindeer here, which is a sculpture in black and gold. So this looks very classy, very upscale, and adds sheer elegance in any space or decor thing. But on the same end, if I use this particular bright neon pink reindeer as an accessory, it's going to add a spunk or like a funky touch to an interior. So this is going to go to our client, and if you stay connected with us on our on your media pages, you will see soon that this is going into a lawyer's office, and it's going to break the monotony of the black and white with a spunky reindeer in this bright pink. So you see how the home decor industry is also moving, and how they are adapting their color palettes, their material finishes to support the kind of cultural changes that our generation is looking up to. So you can see from a golden to a neon, they look nice. So the other monochrome that I was discussing are these mason jars, and you can see that they also come in beautiful black and white, and with a sustainable wood um, lid. So they are ceramic, eco-friendly, monochromatic, as well as sustainable. So these elements are becoming again a huge rage. They are round in shape, not in boxy edges, and a lot of experimentation in sizes, shapes, proportions are being done. So this is how the decor and design industry is moving ahead, and it's trying to experiment whatever trends are. And I'm telling you, these trends are going to go for good next few years, but definitely 2023 is going to give you good surprises. The futuristic color can be lavender, can be any other color, but I'm sure they are going to experiment a lot of trends. So I'm here ending this presentation, and I hope these trends will add some excitement in everybody's palette and make your journey in design and architecture or
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an insightful presentation. A well-designed space is one that meets all needs, and your presentation wonderfully illustrates the same. I'm sure our viewers must have learned a lot from your presentation, and as a result, must be curious to know more, and myself included. I would love to take this opportunity to ask you a few questions. So we see various types of innovative glass in your project. What are the parameters that help you decide which type of glass should we use?
So yes, we do experiment a lot of glass. In fact, in our own office, we have a combination of clear glass and fluted glass. So the usage of the space is the prime factor which we consider, and then is the aesthetical quality of a material. So if we need some kind of privacy, or we need some kind of concealment, definitely we look into some textured glass or some kind of stained glass. And if it has to be just an elegant statement, we can go into the lacquered glass. And if it does need more, exuberance and the space has to look open, then we go for a clear glass. So it all depends upon use, functionality, and then aesthetical quality.
That's great. So, taking this thought process forward, we understand that it must be a challenge to introduce the latest trends, while maintaining a sense of timeless style. So,
Yeah.
what are some challenges that you face during designing or remodeling of a space?
So yeah, there are a lot of challenges because every site has a unique set of, in India specifically, because you know how regionally things are crafted and how at times there are no bylaws and things just come up. So definitely there are a lot of challenges, whether it is about light, natural light influx in a space, or electrical points. So there are a lot of challenges. In specific, I would just say that every site is unique. So what we do is that we first do a Reiki of the site very well and understand that what are going to be the challenges which we cannot change, but what is the scope of improvement that we have. And then we start from there, and then we start finding solutions to it.
Definitely. So, according to you, what are some salient features of a well-designed space? As you said, okay, I'll just take a pause. I'm so sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
Right. So I'll repeat myself. So according to you, what are some salient features of a well-designed space?
See, I would give light, natural light, well blend of spaces in terms of circulation, the top priority as features which do not have to speak loud but are an integral part to the planning. And these factors give a lot of scope of good lifestyle, whether it is placing of furniture, adding artificial lighting. If you have these basics considered, it definitely adds a feather to your cap by adding more logical aspects.
Okay. And so here's my last question. What, according to you, are some glass trends emerging in residential interiors or generally in interiors?
Glass trends, you mean?
Yes, ma'am. Or could be you've already talked about the emerging trends in interior design, right? So some glass trends maybe.
So definitely, glass trends will be on a high because they give a lot of spaciousness to a project. If you somehow noticed in one of the slides, I had shown a living room space where we had used stone in between. So with stone, we had used on both ends, left and side, right side, mirror glass. So that actually adds a very reflective quality. So I think mirrors as a design feature will keep hiking. They could be stained glass. It could be, as I said, fluted glass is going really well, and it will continue to go well. We will also be looking at using a lot of lacquered glass, whether it is kitchen shutters, wardrobe shutters. So I think glass is going to be a very integral part to design in the near future.
Definitely. And I have to agree, even fluted glass is one of my favorites.
Really? I'm glad to know that. In fact, I can just see if I can turn the video. Okay. Okay, so in case this happens, so here is the fluted glass that we have in our office, and if you can see, this is all around.
Very pretty.
Yeah, thank you. So, acrylic and fluted glass go really well in hand, and I think it will go in the trend for a long time to go.
Right. So, thank you very much, ma'am. That was indeed very informational and aesthetic. And on behalf of all of us at Class Academy and Ethos, I would like to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And it was really nice having you over, Radhika, and we look forward to stay connected. Take care. Have fun.
Thank you, ma'am. I got to learn a lot personally.
It's so sweet. I'm glad that you took out time and we could connect here.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll just keep you updated then, like after the processing, video processing and everything's done, and we'll be broadcasting it.
Perfect. I look forward. I'll await that. Okay,
Thank
then
you.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.